This week on Dateline Abuja, again we ask, can MSME survive in Nigeria? And again the answer is yes. But business owners must think outside the box, and there are avenues for small businesses to thrive. My guest walks us through the portals available in our interview section. Our feature story is on the MSME Survival Fund and its implementation in the Federal Capital Territory, especially the Artisan Support Scheme. And as we do every week, we have our Abuja Wrap. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. We are the nation's seat of power. So let's look at the major stories that made the headlines this week in our Abuja Wrap.
President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the people of Jos, Plateau State, and other warring communities to give peace a chance. The president made this call in a statement put out on Sunday by his senior special assistant, Mr. Garba Shehu. His pleas come on the heels of a wave of attacks which have hit Plateau State in recent times, leaving many killed and several others injured. President Buhari has relieved two ministers of their appointments. They're the Ministers of Agriculture, Mohammed Sabo Nanono, and his power counterpart, Engineer Saleh Maman. Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, announced that the Minister of Environment, Mr. Mohammed Abubakar, has been redeployed to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Resources, while the Minister of State for Works, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, is to take over as Minister of Power.
In due course, substantive nominations will be made to fill the consequential vacancies in accordance with the requirements of the Constitution.
The President has asked the new board of the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority to make more investments that support economic diversification, as global oil prices are projected to drop to around $40 per barrel by 2030. He gave the charge at the inauguration of the third NSIA board.
To the new board members, your appointment is a call to duty. It is a call to action, and it's a call to performance. Some analyst reports are projecting global oil prices could drop to around 40 United States dollars per barrel by 2030. As a board, we want you to plan for change, and in doing, prepare the next year to make more investment that support economic diversification.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Nigerian graduates to apply for the Jubilee Fellows Program. The program, a federal government initiative in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, aims to place 20,000 skilled young Nigerian graduates under the age of 30 into jobs in private and public sector organizations around the country.
The Jubilee program will provide a pathway for young Nigerians to gain work experience in top-tier organizations, gaining relevant skills, and building the right networks for the future in various sectors, including information and communication technology, financial services, trade, manufacturing, agriculture, and agro-processing.
The governor of Gombe State met with President Muhammadu Buhari to press him to fast-track the implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Plan. Governor Inuwa Yahaya told State House correspondents after the meeting that the plan will solve the problem of accommodation that may arise from the movement of herders back to the north following the ban on open grazing in southern states.
There is need for us to fast-track the process of building that place so that in the event that our people move in multitudes to come back to resettle, we'll have space for them and will avoid situations where there will be rancor and there will be issues to do with either farmer herders again, or issues to do with the herders themselves having problems because they cannot have any space for them to stay in.
The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, General Buba Mawa, has been updating the president on the milestones he has attained since his appointment. Briefing State House correspondents after the meeting, General Mawa said drugs worth over 100 billion naira have been seized and about 1,630 criminals have been arrested by the agency.
Considering the hazardous nature of the work that we do, the danger in it, we arrest and jail the criminals and then live among them. This is an area that I found His Excellency Mr. President was very well seized of. Therefore, we expect barracks in all the locations that we are serving. So throughout the country, but the budgetary provisions is something that I will not comment on.
Ahead of the November 6 governorship election in Anambra State, President Muhammadu Buhari received the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Andy Uba. The Federal Executive Council has approved a new national policy for internally displaced persons in the country. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development disclosed this when she briefed State House correspondents on the outcome of the Federal Executive Council meeting.
A multisectoral structure will fully emerge, which should ensure a coordinated, operational and strategic response to all the humanitarian challenges our great nation is facing.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says the federal government is resolved to ensure that the Nigerian child is not denied access to basic education. Professor Osinbajo stated this at the National Dialogue Forum on the Girl Child in Nigeria.
It's very important that the states and local governments ensure that there are gender-responsive measures, that ensure that they implement gender-responsive measures that will transform the education systems and address the barriers that inhibit girl child education. And all of this must be done very actively by the states.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, is asking commissioners of health to work at addressing incessant strike actions by health workers, which he says has put the country's health sector on autopilot. Mr. Mustafa made the call at a meeting of state commissioners of health.
The federal government also expects that you will find time as policy and decision makers to address the root causes of incessant labor crisis in the health sector. We are now in autopilot as far as crisis in the health sector is concerned.
Welcome back. Now to the MSME Survival Fund. Our feature story looks at the 30,000 naira grants given to small registered Nigerian business owners. Who are the beneficiaries and are they satisfied with what they're getting? Should the government give more money? Do they have the capacity to? How is it being monitored and by who? Can the money go round to all those who deserve it? Well, we caught up with a few beneficiaries in the FCT. Please watch this.
Artisans from different parts of the Federal Capital Territory are here for the 30,000 naira grant promised by the federal government as part of plans to cushion the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. The recipients applaud the government for the scheme, but like Oliver Twist, they're asking for more.
This is the fourth time, whether you believe it or not, we see a government that cared for the artisans. This is the first time we see a government that decided to bring themselves down to our level. So we have to have patience. We have to have patience. We have to have patience. We did not force them to come and snap us. We did not force them, to pay those they have paid. We did not force them to come here today. So let us be patient. The one we are appealing to you people, those of you from the government, is that many have gotten and many have not gotten. Please take our message and our cry back to the government that we thank them for the one they have done, but we are still appealing to them to pay those that have been captured And those other people that have not been captured, they should make arrangements that those people will be captured. We are begging, we are not quarreling.
I want to appreciate the federal government for this kind gestures to us. You know, they came to us as artisans that they want to enumerate most people so that they will give them a token of 30,000 naira, and they carried out the data for about, we are in the association registered with 200 names, about 190 names were enumerated, the data we are taking, and about less than 25 of us anyway, I am included, who have this money. We receive a lot from this money. So what we are actually telling the government is we appreciate government for this kind gesture to us, and we want to ask them that they should do more so that many others will get this money. You know, I was in their shoe. I feel so bad when that money was not with me, but for when that money got into my account, I know what it has done for me. So them that have not got the money, they are feeling the same thing. So please, government, the federal government, the leaders of this government, they should make effort to give more to those people who have not received and their data have been taken.
The committee assures the artisans that the grant would go round as it's done in batches.
The most important thing for everyone to know is these things we are doing it in batches, and we have already captured the MSMEs, and then what we are coming here to do today is to know exactly whether the first batch of this segment is being paid or not, whether they have received their money or they have not received their money. And then we'll be able to know where we stop, how are we going to take it up, how are we going to pay the remaining people who have been captured, because as far as we are concerned, each state was giving a number, Abuja was giving a number, and we'll make sure that the numbers given to Abuja will be met. So the essence of doing this is to identify whether the Bank of Industry were able to pay those people that were captured, and if the Bank of Industry were unable to pay some, we take the list of those people who were captured and they were not paid, so that we ensure that the Bank of Industry are able to pay these people. Because why we came here is just to ensure that things that the government is doing, we are monitoring it to ensure that what is supposed to be for the organizations, what's supposed to be for the artisans are getting it. That is the whole essence of us coming here.
The Artisan Support Scheme, which is a one-off grant, is just a part of the MSME Survival Fund program, which is in its last phase. So far, the federal government has disbursed over 56 billion naira to owners of micro, small and medium businesses across the country.
As you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic caused a drop in demand for corporate and household products and commodities in Nigeria, just like it did in other parts of the world. It is in response to this that the Guaranteed Offtake Scheme was conceived as part of the federal government's interventions to assist small and growing businesses that were negatively affected by the pandemic. It is important to inform you at this point that this track had an initial target of 100,000 MSMEs across the country. We opened the portal sometime in February, just for a short period, and by the time the portal was closed, we had received a total of 65,976 applications across the country, out of which we have verified and pre-qualified 50,032 MSMEs that we're presently processing to offtake their products.
The MSME Survival Fund scheme, which was approved by the Federal Executive Council on July 1, 2020, falls under the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan. According to the federal government, over 85% of the target for the program has been achieved.
Small businesses need all the help they can get, and to be fair, the federal government is reaching out to a lot of them. 56 billion naira has been disbursed so far, and 85% of the set target for businesses has been reached, according to our guest. What impact has this had on the sector? And why isn't there much buzz about these strides by the Buhari administration? Mr. Tola Johnson is a special advisor to the Vice President on small and medium enterprises. And he tells us it's been an eventful experience and they have no regrets. Mr. Johnson, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much, Kela.
Now, you've done so much in the past few months. You said in your report recently that you've met 85% of your set targets. Talk to us a bit about the target set for MSMEs and what are the experiences you've picked up along the way?
The overall scheme, that's the Survival Fund, had the payroll support. And in the payroll support, we were meant to, it was with a target of 500,000 MSMEs. We were meant to support their salaries every month. 500,000 MSMEs.
That's what the payroll support system.
Yes. We're supposed to support their salaries, augment whatever their institutions were paying them every month for 3 months. So, for instance, if you're paying somebody about 100,000, we'll add 50,000 naira to that 100,000. So you pay them 50,000. Basically, government will give you 50,000 every month for 3 months for 10 people in your institution. And we did that. And with that, out of the 500,000, we now have about 459,000. 459,000. So that's close to 90%. Then for the artisan scheme as well, that was we had a target of 333,000 across the country. As we speak right now, about 289,000 people have been paid for the artisan and transport as we speak. You know, we also promised MSMEs that we're going to register 250,000 businesses free of charge for MSMEs. So these are business names. You see, there are a lot of MSMEs operating but do not even have a business name. So during our clinics, as the VP moved around the MSME clinics, so we had said that at some point, you know, it would be nice for the federal government to try and help these people. So we went into a partnership with CAC and said to us that give us this, the CAC will register this at normally about 12,000. We said to them that give us a discount as government, because it's government to government. We'll give us a discount and we'll register 250,000 business names free. As we speak, in the 250,000, we have done about 244,000. So we're just below 6,000 to complete the 250,000. You see, with this particular survival fund schemes, most of those targets that were set, you know, we are ensuring that we meet those targets. The ones we have not met, we are running around to see how we can meet those targets.
Is that what the plan is for the last phase of this?
So yes, and that's why the GOS that was just launched, that was supposed to support the manufacturing industry. If you are producing or manufacturing, say for instance, things like face masks, even face masks, hand sanitizers, and all of those things, the government will support your business by injecting some money into your business. And you produce and will hand over to states. You know, so states can then now give to MSMEs, institutions, NGOs, healthcare centers as they deem fit. But the federal government will hand over to the states.
Go to places like Borno or Adamawa, Yola, all those places, and actually see the reality on ground. And that brings me to my next question, really.
Correct.
These support schemes, are they sufficient for people at that level of society, people who have very small businesses? Have they been able to key into these programs of the government?
Okay. These supports were meant for them. So in trying to ensure that we got to our target audience or our target markets, we went about our media and publicity aggressively. So Smed, who was handling our logistics and media, they were going state by state, ensuring that the key Nigerian languages such as Yoruba, even Pidgin English, Hausa, Igbo, you know, they were ensuring that they were pushing out our messages to ensure that people got these messages. And aside from the regular media on TV, so on newspaper, they were sending out people to go and speak to people to let them know that, listen, this is from government. You know, you need to apply for these things. You need to apply for these things, basically, you know. So, but in answering your question directly, you know, we have seen positive response to this scheme. You see, you need to see the joy when people collect 30,000 naira and they call you that, oh, we've gotten this money. When are we paying back? We say, no, it's a grant. It's to support you.
And I remember the last time we spoke about this, I was saying, isn't there a call for this to be extended?
So for the clinics, we have done 28 so far. We have about 8 left for the clinics. Now, for the shared facilities, the plan is always for the federal government to work with the state government to have one position in the state.
How does it work? How does the shared facility
what
work?
happens is that the shared facility will go to the states and ask, we ask the state to let us, to show us around clusters that are sustainable, where you have gathering of SMEs doing almost the same thing, but they are lacking in equipment. So we come into that cluster with our private sector partners, then they provide those equipment. You know, because it will not be nice for you to, as federal government, just go into a state and say, okay, this state we are giving you fashion, and there's no fashion cluster there. It will not be sustainable. In 6 months down the line, that cluster facility will be dead. So we want something sustainable. In Anambra that we just launched, those people have been there for years.
What business?
The shoe cluster. They've been there for years. So this is a cluster of almost 20-something thousand people.
What markets did you look at there?
Ugbonike. So this is a cluster of almost 20-something thousand people. So they come in there day and night, every day to come and either somebody's producing shoe, somebody's producing soap, somebody's producing something related. So that's what we try to do. And we now encourage the states to do in 2 other senatorial zones. You know, for it to actually make the sort of impact you want in the states, it would be nice if you have 3 different clusters, you know, that are related to what people are doing. So once we've done that as a federal government, we encourage the states and talk to our partners to try and see if they can actually ensure that they commission another one in another senatorial zone. So you have 3 in each senatorial zones in each state.
You haven't answered my question about, you know, calls for this to continue.
Oh, yes.
Because this shouldn't be a one-off situation. Yes. This is what governance is. Yes. It should be continued. Is there a plan?
Okay,
is there a plan to sustain this?
Okay, so there's been, I'm aware that there's been several calls from several quarters for us to continue the survival fund, some aspects of the survival fund, especially the payroll support and the artisan support, basically. So His Excellency is studying, is looking at it, and I guess in due time you'll get back to the public on that. You know.
Would you want it to continue?
Oh, these are very popular schemes. So if data shows that MSMEs are still in need, because we need to work from data to results. You know, if data shows that the impact of the COVID-19 was so bad that our 3-month support was good enough, but can be better if we do maybe additional 3 months or additional 6 months or thereabouts. And if we're able to back that up with solid data, I'm sure His Excellency will look at it.
Well, Mr. Johnson, it's a lot of work that you've done, and we'll be keeping up with you to see how it goes in the months ahead. But thank you so much for being with us on Dateline Abuja.
Thank you very much.
If you're a small business owner, our heart goes out to you right now. It must be hard. But as with all things in Nigeria, you have to ride it till the wheels fall off. The government promises that this funding is going to business owners directly. So go online and find out which intervention package suits your business type. There are people thriving in these extenuating circumstances. Not just surviving, thriving. Find a way, legally. That's his Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Megwa. See you next time.